You got to respect people who turned the lights on for you.
Mace taught me how to rap, and Cam always made sure I was on every single album he had. There would be no Jim Jones if it wasn't for them guys.
1 hour later.
And it's good to hear you give Mace his flowers.
I ain't giving no flowers. I love the hate because I'm a hater myself.
Pusha T should be on the greatest 50 rappers of all time list?
How? What has he done? What has he done that puts him in the greatest rappers of all time besides talk about that he probably didn't?
The Harlem streets are heating up once again, and this time, it's Jim Jones who's caught in the crossfire. After Pusha T dropped a diss that fans are calling one of the most disrespectful in recent memory. Dollar E stepped in and the results are shocking. Known for his sharp wit and street credibility, Dollar E didn't hold back, clapping back at Jim Jones in a way that left the rap community buzzing. The clips of the exchange have already gone viral, and fans are debating whether Jim Jones' career might be in jeopardy after this public embarrassment. Jim Jones, once seen as a stalwart of Harlem, now faces not only a diss from one of the industry's most respected voices, but also the public scrutiny and humor brought by MAE's pointed response. Fans are dissecting every moment, the tone, the timing, and the subtle digs that make MAE's comeback sting even more. Social media erupted almost immediately with reaction videos, memes, and threads dissecting the confrontation, all questioning whether Jim Jones can recover from this latest blow. This isn't just a rap beef. It's a moment that could redefine reputations and influence street credibility. The streets and fans alike are watching, discussing, and forming opinions. Jim Jones' response, or lack thereof, could determine whether he maintains respect in Harlem or if his credibility is officially shaken. Get ready for shocking revelations, intense confrontations, and a battle that has the entire hip-hop world talking. The Harlem streets were buzzing, and the internet was already on fire. Pusha T, never one to hold back, had just dropped a diss track aimed squarely at Jim Jones, and fans across the globe were reacting instantly. The line had been disrespectful, cutting deep, and many felt it questioned not just Jim Jones' credibility, but his place in Harlem's rap hierarchy. But the story didn't stop there. Dollar E, Harlem's legendary voice of street wisdom and wit, stepped into the fray, and his response was nothing short of ruthless. The situation unfolded on a live-streamed event where both Jim Jones and Dollar E were present. Jim Jones, who had built a reputation on bravado, charisma, and street influence, walked in confident but cautious. He knew the diss from Pusha T had already sparked debates, and his fans were divided. Some defended him, citing his long career and contributions to Harlem's rap scene, while others questioned whether he could respond effectively. Then MAE entered, calm, composed, and exuding authority, the kind of presence that immediately commands attention. The crowd felt the tension shift instantly. Jim Jones attempted his usual bravado, smiling at fans and addressing cameras. But there was a flicker of concern in his eyes. He was aware that Dollar E wasn't just another rapper. He was someone who could publicly dismantle a reputation with precision and authority. Dollar E leaned in, voice steady and cutting. Jim, you've been running around talking tough, but after Push's diss, the streets are asking questions, and I think it's time you answer them. The crowd reacted, murmurs spreading like wildfire. Jim Jones tried to assert control, gesturing with confidence. Look, I've been in this game for years. I've represented Harlem, built careers, and earned my respect. Pusha can say what he wants, but the streets know the truth. But Dollar E wasn't fazed. Calmly, he countered, the streets don't care about what you say, they care about what you prove. Pusha put you on blast, and your reaction or lack thereof speaks louder than your words. Every word Dollar E spoke landed like a spotlight, exposing cracks in Jim Jones' composure. Fans online were glued to the live feed, watching every movement, every glance, and every shift in body language. The tension was electric. Jim Jones' usual confidence began to waver. His defensive energy evident in his stiff gestures and quick, nervous glances. Meanwhile, Ma$E remained composed, every word precise, his presence amplifying the impact of Pusha T's diss. Social media erupted almost instantly. Reaction videos, memes, and commentary flooded every platform, with fans dissecting the confrontation and debating Jim Jones' credibility. As the conversation continued, Ma$E pressed harder. Jim, the streets aren't fooled by loud words or old glory. Influence isn't just claimed, it's earned, day by day, through truth and consistency. Pusha exposed a flaw, and now it's your turn to show what's real. Jim Jones attempted to interrupt, his voice raising slightly. I've been loyal to Harlem. I've done my part. You think a diss track changes that? Ma$E, unfazed, smiled slightly. It's not about loyalty, it's about perception and authenticity. And right now, that perception is being challenged in real time. The room's energy intensified. Fans in the audience leaned forward, sensing a rare public reckoning unfolding before their eyes. Cameras captured every subtle shift. Jim Jones' face reddening with frustration. The tight clench of his jaw, the hesitation in his responses. Online viewers were equally captivated, replaying clips and analyzing the confrontation frame by frame. Memes and reaction videos went viral, each adding fuel to the growing firestorm, trying to salvage control. Jim Jones cited his past achievements, chart-topping songs, collaborations, and influence over Harlem's rap scene. I've done things no one else could. You can't erase that. But Ma$E was relentless. Calmly, he countered, achievements are part of your story, yes, but they don't erase the current narrative. The streets, the fans, and the culture demand authenticity. That's why this moment matters. The audience murmured in agreement, the tension now palpable enough to feel physically by the end of part one. It was clear that Jim Jones was under immense pressure. Pusha T's diss had opened the door, and Ma$E was walking through it with precision and authority, exposing weaknesses and forcing Jim Jones to confront uncomfortable truths about perception, credibility, and influence. Fans online debated, analyzed, and shared clips, while the live audience sat in stunned silence, witnessing what many considered a rare public dismantling of a Harlem rap icon's confident facade. The stage was set for part two, where Ma$E would continue to press Jim Jones. The crowd reaction would intensify, and social media would explode further. Every move, every word, and every reaction would continue to play a role in determining whether Jim Jones could survive the public humiliation, or if his career credibility was on the line. Fans were waiting with bated breath, ready to see what happens next in this explosive Harlem showdown. The tension in the room had reached a boiling point. Jim Jones, who had started part one with bravado, now looked increasingly uncomfortable under Maz's piercing gaze. Every word from Ma$E hit with precision, leaving Jim Jones fumbling for a response. The live audience sensed the shift, leaning in, whispering among themselves, while cameras captured every twitch of hesitation, every awkward glance, every stammered word. Online, fans were going wild, clips were circulating rapidly, memes were being made, and debates erupted across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The combination of Pusha T's diss and Ma$E's public clowns had created a storm Jim Jones couldn't ignore. Ma$E leaned closer, his voice steady, almost surgical in its delivery. Jim, you talk about loyalty, influence, and respect, but the fans see the truth differently. Pusha's diss wasn't random, it highlighted what a lot of people have been noticing for a while. Your credibility is being questioned, and you need to address it honestly. The crowd reacted instantly. Some nodded in agreement, others murmured their shock at the directness of Ma$E's words. Jim Jones opened his mouth to respond, but Ma$E wasn't done. You can't just shout louder than the criticism. Influence is earned, and when the truth comes knocking, you can't run from it. Jim Jones attempted to regain control, his voice rising with frustration. "I've built careers, represented Harlem, and been loyal to the streets. That doesn't disappear because someone made a diss track." But Ma Dollar E countered sharply, his tone unwavering. "No one's denying your accomplishments. But when actions don't match words and the streets see a disconnect, that's what we're talking about. Respect isn't given, it's proven, day by day. Right now, you're being tested." The room's energy intensified. Cameras zoomed in on Jim Jones' body language shifts and posture. Nervous gestures and forced smiles betrayed his struggle. Fans online were dissecting every detail, comparing reactions, debating whether he could recover. Memes portraying Jim Jones' discomfort were already trending. And reaction videos analyzed every stutter, glance, and faltering statement. The humiliation was real. And the internet amplified it exponentially. Trying to redirect the conversation, Jim Jones pointed to past collaborations, chart-topping tracks, and his history in Harlem. "Look, I've done things no..." As the confrontation continued, Ma Dollar E intensified his points, highlighting inconsistencies in Jim Jones' statements and public persona. "You talk about loyalty, but actions speak louder than words. The streets know when someone exaggerates or misrepresents themselves. This isn't about disrespect. It's about the truth." The crowd reacted, some clapping, some whispering, and the energy was electric. The cameras captured every moment, feeding the online audience who were dissecting every second. Jim Jones' attempts to defend himself grew increasingly desperate. His voice trembled slightly, his gestures became erratic, and he tried humor in an attempt to diffuse tension. "Come on, Ma Dollar E, we're friends. You're exaggerating." But MaDollarE.com and Authoritative replied, "Friendship doesn't excuse accountability. Influence isn't claimed, it's proven." And today, the truth is being revealed, whether it's comfortable or not. Fans online were relentless, replaying clips, creating commentary threads, and debating whether Jim Jones could withstand this public scrutiny. The energy in the room reflected the online chaos, every eye on the two Harlem icons, every ear tuned to every word. The confrontation wasn't just entertainment, it was a public reckoning, a test of credibility, and a moment that could define Jim Jones' standing in the hip-hop community. The climax of Part 2 came when Ma Dollar E delivered a final sharp point that left Jim Jones momentarily speechless. "You've talked about legacy, but the present doesn't lie. It's the streets, the fans, and the culture. They all see when someone misrepresents themselves. Today, that exposure is real, and it's happening publicly. You can't control perception. You can only prove it." The crowd reacted immediately, gasps and whispers filling the space, while fans online flooded social media with reactions. Memes, threads, and viral posts exploded across platforms, highlighting Jim Jones' visibly shaken demeanor. By the end of Part 2, Jim Jones was visibly rattled. Ma Dollar E had methodically dismantled his narrative, exposed inconsistencies, and forced him into a corner. The online reaction mirrored the live audience debates, memes, and viral clips dominated conversations, amplifying the humiliation. The stage was now set for Part 3, where Jim Jones' response or retreat would determine the ultimate consequences of this confrontation. Would he try to fight back, issue a statement, or disappear from the spotlight entirely? Fans were left on the edge of their seats, eager to see the fallout from this explosive Harlem showdown by the time Part 3 begins. The tension in the room had reached its peak. Jim Jones, who entered with swagger and confidence, was now visibly rattled. Every move he made was scrutinized, every word dissected by both the live audience and millions of online fans. Ma Dollar E, on the other hand, remained calm, composed, and precise, his words hitting like a series of calculated strikes. The combination of Pusha T's diss and MAE's public humiliation had created a storm that threatened to engulf Jim Jones' credibility entirely. As Ma Dollar E continued, he pressed harder, leaving no room for deflection. Jim, you've spent years building a reputation, claiming influence, and presenting yourself as a stalwart of Harlem. But influence isn't just words, it's actions, consistency, and truth. The streets see beyond bravado, and right now, they're questioning you. Jim Jones' face flushed, his usual confident tone replaced with defensive murmurs. Look, I've done a lot for Harlem. I've built careers, given opportunities, and represented the streets. That doesn't disappear because of one track or one moment. Ma$E shook his head slightly, smiling with a subtle edge of dominance. Accomplishments are part of history, sure, but today is about the present. Actions speak louder than claims. And when the fans and the streets see a disconnect, that's when credibility is lost. Every word hit hard, and the audience reacted audibly. Gasps, murmurs, and whispers filled the room. Social media exploded simultaneously, with reaction clips going viral within minutes. Fans debated every gesture, glance, and statement, dissecting Jim Jones' faltering composure while praising Ma's surgical precision. Desperation crept into Jim Jones' attempts to defend himself. His gestures became erratic, his voice occasionally trembling, and his smiles forced. He tried humor in a desperate bid to regain control. Come on, Ma$E, we're friends. You know, I've got respect in Harlem. But Ma$E remained unmoved. Calmly, he replied, friendship doesn't negate accountability. The streets don't care about excuses, they care about authenticity. And right now, the truth is clear. The live audience leaned in, sensing the shift. Jim Jones' energy was faltering, his confidence eroding under MAE's relentless scrutiny. The cameras captured everything, the sweat forming on his forehead, the nervous glances toward the exits, the subtle flinches each time Ma$E delivered a sharp line. Fans online dissected every frame, creating viral memes and reaction videos. The narrative was clear. Jim Jones was struggling. Ma$E was in complete control. The pressure intensified as Ma$E continued to expose inconsistencies and questionable claims. Jim, influence isn't claimed, it's proven. Legacy isn't just about past glories, it's about how you respond to challenges now. And right now, your reaction is speaking volumes. The statement landed heavily. Jim Jones attempted a retort but stumbled over his words, unable to match the precision and composure of Ma$E. The contrast was stark, and the live audience reacted. Visibly, some nodding in agreement, while others whispered about the severity of the confrontation. Social media, of course, was relentless. Clips of Jim Jones' faltering defense spread like wildfire. Memes poking fun at his discomfort appeared across platforms within minutes. Reaction videos analyzed every twitch, stammer, and defensive gesture. Fan communities debated whether this public humiliation could irreversibly damage his credibility in Harlem and the broader hip-hop scene. Some sympathized, noting the immense pressure of public scrutiny, while others celebrated Ma$E's exposure of inconsistencies, calling it a lesson in authenticity and street accountability. The moment of truth arrived when Jim Jones realized that defending himself further might only escalate the situation. The room's energy was palpable. The audience could sense his hesitation, the faltering of his confidence, and the inevitability of what was coming. Ma$E.com and composed, delivered one final statement that left the room and online fans stunned. Jim, the streets, the fans, and the culture don't lie. Actions speak louder than words, and right now, the actions or lack thereof are speaking for themselves. It was the tipping point. Jim Jones' body language shifted. He took a step back, glanced toward the exit repeatedly, and the tension became almost unbearable. The live audience murmured, sensing that he was reaching a breaking point. Social media exploded in real time, with fans speculating that Jim Jones might leave before the confrontation escalated further. Reaction videos captured the moment in slow motion, highlighting the visible cracks in his once confident demeanor. And then it happened. Jim Jones, overwhelmed by the relentless pressure and the unyielding public scrutiny, made a split-second decision. He fled the scene. The crowd gasped. Cameras followed him, and social media immediately lit up with clips of his retreat. Fans debated wildly. Was this a tactical retreat, an admission of defeat, or the ultimate humiliation? Memes portraying his exit went viral, and discussion threads filled with analysis of his body language, tone, and the implications for his career. The aftermath was brutal. Clips of Jim Jones' retreat dominated feeds for days. Podcasts, YouTube channels, and fan communities dissected the event endlessly. Analysts discussed the implications for his credibility, his standing in Harlem, and even the potential long-term effects on his career. The narrative was clear. Mod$E had successfully exposed a vulnerability in Jim Jones, and the combination of Pusha T's diss and the live confrontation had created a public reckoning that couldn't be ignored for Jim Jones. The challenge now was recovery. The public, both live and online, had witnessed a rare moment of vulnerability, one that had gone viral in minutes. Social media users debated whether he could bounce back, issuing statements or addressing the fans directly, or if this humiliation would linger indefinitely. The streets were talking, and the eyes of the hip-hop community were on him. Every move, every response, and every subsequent public appearance would be analyzed through the lens of this confrontation. The event also served as a reminder of the unforgiving nature of public scrutiny in the hip-hop world. Even seasoned veterans like Jim Jones are not immune to exposure, especially when confronted by respected voices like Mod$E. The combination of a powerful diss from Pusha T and MAE's incisive response created a storm that fans and critics alike couldn't ignore. It was a cautionary tale about credibility, perception, and the reality that reputation is never unassailable. If you want to see the full fallout of this explosive Harlem showdown, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment. This story is far from over, and the drama surrounding Jim Jones, MAE, and Pusha T continues to unfold. Fans around the world are analyzing every clip, debating every reaction, and sharing every meme. Join the conversation in the comments. What do you think about Jim Jones fleeing the scene? Did Mod$E completely dismantle his credibility? Or is there a chance for redemption? Fans are divided, and your opinion matters. This is the kind of story that defines street credibility, tests careers, and keeps the hip-hop community buzzing. Don't forget to like and share this video to help others catch the drama as it happens. Stay tuned for follow-ups, exclusive analysis, and behind-the-scenes breakdowns of every reaction, every clip, and every viral moment. Subscribe today and be part of the discussion, because the story of Jim Jones and MAE is just getting started. And you won't want to miss what happens next in this high-stakes battle for Harlem credibility.